Hey y'all, it's Dixie with Ravin Dixie Line. Thanks for joining us for this episode of The Biker. Today I'm sitting down with the president of Steel Horsemen MC, the man, the myth, the biker, CO. CO, how are you today?
I'm wonderful, and yourself?
I am doing well, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, so we'll get right into it. How long have you been on the set?
I've been a Steel Horseman since 2001.
So Steel Horsemen is the only club that you've been in?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been riding?
Ooh, since I was about 7, 8.
7 or 8?
Go-karts, mini bikes, lawnmowers, you name it.
Yeah.
That's kind of what gets you into becoming a biker.
Yeah.
The great adventure of being outdoors, having cut grass, but go-karts, mini bikes. So.
What's your favorite bike that you've ridden?
My favorite bike?
Yes.
I'd have to say a Harley Davidson.
A Harley?
Ultra classic.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
I've ridden other Harleys, but the Ultra Classic is the top of the line for me.
Yeah. So you said that you have been riding since you were 7 or 8, or playing with the idea of riding since you were 7 and 8. What made you join the biker set?
Well, my cousin used to have one of those old Honda choppers, so that's kind of what got me into wanting to ride a motorcycle, because I said to myself, I'm going to ride to California one day. So that's on my bucket list, to strap up and ride to California. Now, I've ridden a lot of places, gone to a couple of corners of America, but I haven't made it to California yet.
So how many state lines would you say that you have crossed?
Let's see. Been to Vegas, Florida, Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Chicago, New Orleans.
So Vegas is probably the furthest.
Yeah, furthest. Now, I didn't actually ride to Vegas. We towed a few bikes out there and we rode in Vegas. We went to the National Bikers Roundup in Vegas. So, yeah. We were trying to take a group of folks, so we took a group of bikes. But I did drive. Didn't ride, but I drove it.
So you drove. That's still a long drive all the way to Vegas. So what do you like best about being on the set?
The brotherhood and camaraderie.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned that from actually being broke down on the side of the road, which was kind of interesting, because you can ride a motorcycle, but until you actually have, I won't say broken down or set at a rest area because you've been riding for a long time, that's when you truly get to know the passion that folks have for being a biker. Yeah. The charity work of it, doing stuff for others. It's and being outdoors. I mean, I love to be outdoors. Yeah. On a day like a rainy day, I could sit on the front porch and be as content as going down the highway, on my bike.
So you like just being outside.
I do.
So you mentioned charity work. Now, I know you guys do a Christmas toy drive in December, every December annually. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's something that a group of and I'm going to call them old heads, that put together, folks like Too Shy, people that have been around on the set for a while, decided some things that they wanted to give back. So the toy drive is something that's been going on, I'm going to say, just the amount of time I've been in it, since 2001. We kind of got together. At that time, we picked, somebody may have had a community center or a church that was in need of some toys, and they sort of just got together, and we buy some toys, and we get together and ride over and present them to it. And it just evolved into what it is today.
So how does that work? Now, I know there's different steps in how you collect the toys, how you get the toys, and then get them to the people.
Well, it's a couple of different. We do roadblocks. Back in the day, we used to do fish fries, but the little fish fry stuff just doesn't.
In December.
It doesn't bring enough money to really do what you need to do. So we also have clubs that challenge each other. There's some clubs out here with 49 or more members. So in one year, we just had a bicycle challenge to see which club could come up with the most bikes. And I think at that particular year, we was well over 500 bicycles that we delivered to Metro Services to give away 2 weeks after we actually do it. It's always going to be the first Saturday of December. Currently, we're meeting out at American Motorsports in Madison, and Then we do a little ride from Madison, we go down Dickerson Road through a couple of neighborhoods, and we end up at Metro Services where we actually deliver the toys. And then a couple of weeks later, we present those toys to the families that are through the system.
Right, so you all are able to present it to the families
Yes,
as bikers. It comes
yes.
from the community straight
Come
to
from
them.
the biking community straight
so
to
you
them.
get that recognition for that. Yeah?
And we also do, in November, we have a turkey drive where we feed 300 families a Thanksgiving meal. Also, there's clubs that donate. You know, it's different organizations that are part of that. And then we, on a particular Saturday, meet up at Tennessee State University and pass out 300 Thanksgiving meals.
Okay, so I know that you've been in Steel Horsemen MC and on the set for almost 20 years. What are you doing with your club as president of Steel Horsemen?
Well, a couple of different things. We have, like I said, different charity organizations we're a part of. We're also looking to, you know, get some folks out and actually ride their bikes and go to different states to experience what the brotherhood biking culture is like in different states and different areas. Tomorrow, we're actually going to have some folks meet up, and we're going up to Pastor Ron's, which is in Springfield, Tennessee, and he's getting ready to start a drug rehab kind of program for the biking set. So those are some of the things that with my club that we're involved with. Parkwood Park over here in our neighborhood is a youth park that we've also become part of to try to help bring livelihood back to the park, clean it up a little bit, and help those kids get on the right path and go in the right direction.
Okay, that's good. I think that's good stuff. And how do you get your members motivated to do that sort of charitable work? Not everybody is equally motivated.
The thing about this brotherhood stuff is we all join it for a different reason. So you could have 49 members, but only 10 or 15 are into the same, 15 of them might be in it just want to ride. You've got 5 or 10 that just want to be in the bike show. You have the other 10 or 15 that wants to do community work and stuff of that nature. So you got to kind of be the coach of putting the right people in the right place. So most of the time when you see clubs out, if you don't see all of their members, it shouldn't be a knock. It should just be something where you got this group that wants to ride state to state. You got this group that want to go out and make sure that whatever charity event's going on, they make that happen. And then you've got those that got those pretty bikes and they want to go show them when the sun shines. So it's a combination of all those things, and most of the time you have 5 or 6 that do just about whatever it is to do.
Yeah.
So my motivation is trying to find people and what it is they're interested in doing. We have certain events we go to every year, and you try to take as many folks as you can, but we concentrate on the ones that show up. And when they show up, we strike out and do what we do.
You show up.
Yeah, we show
So
up.
what are some of the events that you annually attend as a club?
Well, our particular club has picked 4 different areas to go to each year. We go to Memphis to Pound for Pound to their annual deal. We go up
Shout out to Frank Savage.
We go to Kings of the South in Atlanta. We haven't quite but we're planning on going down to Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Which is up north to visit some clubs in Dayton. And then we go to Evansville, Indiana to State Burners every year.
Yeah.
So those are kind of ones we do. You want to call them mandatory because not everybody, mandatory means everybody's supposed to go.
Okay.
And our club is basically, it's a 99% club, but it's family, work, and then biking. So if you're able to do it, you do it. If you can't, it's not like we're going to come take your colors from you.
Right,
But
right.
hopefully you get into it because you want to do some brotherhood stuff, and it's about biking and brotherhood.
So how many mandatory events do you have in a year, you would say?
3,
3? All right.
with a possibility of 4.
Okay. And are all of those traveling out-of-state events, or are some of them within the... Well, I know you said you went to Memphis.
Mandatory stuff to us is out of state.
Okay.
Everything in state you should be a part of. It's probably well over 100 clubs in this city, and I'm talking MCs.
Right.
It was not even talking SC. Let's just talk MCs. And it's kind of impossible to hit all of them. But then once again, those that don't want to travel when you're traveling should be responsible for making it to all of the in-town stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
So you should be represented pretty much in the 52 weekends is going on, that somebody should be at your function or at a function.
Yeah. So there are other chapters of Steel Horsemen out there, right? Is Nashville the only chapter? There's no other Steel Horsemen. Okay.
There are other Steel Horsemen MCs, but this is the only.
So there are other Steel Horsemen MC
yes.
chapters, or
not chapters?
They're not chapters,
but clubs.
But
that
they're
kind of have the
clubs.
same. It may be spelled different. It'll have a different logo,
Okay.
but it gets confusing a little bit.
Yeah. So
sometimes.
explain that a little bit to us.
Well, I mean, with the world country being as big as it is, it's kind of hard to be. I mean, there's a lot of unique clubs that have the unique name.
Because there's a lot of country boy clubs. I know there's one in Florida, Country Boys, that's spelled like country is spelled and boys is spelled, but then there's one here in Tennessee that's spelled with a K.
Right.
So
they may have the same name. The spelling's a little different. Ours is an African American club, but there's also some Steel Horsemen that of other nationalities.
right. So do you take females in your club? Do you have female MCs?
Yes.
Okay, you were a bit hesitant.
I was, because if it's an MC club, it should be a male
men's club.
club. But I'm not the founder, so some years back we had some young ladies, and we have a young lady still that's in our MC, which in order to be a Steel Horseman, you have to ride an American-made motorcycle and a V-twin American-made motorcycle, and she has that. She meets those qualifications.
So you have one female
We have currently
MC
have
right
one.
now.
Yes.
All right.
So.
Very cool, very cool. So what is the process for becoming a member of Steel Horsemen MC Nashville? What's your probationary period? How do you take on prospects? Things of that nature.
Well, let's say, I'm going to say my brother, for instance, he wants to become a Steel Horseman. He'll come to one of the meetings, sort of present himself or what he's interested in doing, and we'll ask some of the same questions. Why do you want to be a MC? Why do you want to be a Steel Horseman? What do you ride? Do you like to ride? Is it show? Just a couple of questions, and then we'll put him on. We'll vote on it, decide if we want to let him become a prospect or a probate. And there's a difference between prospect and probate.
What's the difference?
Ooh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask me that.
Explain prospecting a little bit.
A probate is someone that's trying to become a part of your club.
Okay.
A prospect is someone that kind of just hangs out and want to do charity work with you, want to be a part of what's going on, but they don't really want to get into the MC world.
Okay. So I didn't really understand that.
And if I'm telling it to you wrong, that's my understanding of it.
Yeah.
But back to our probates, then we'll give you a big brother. The big brother's responsibility is to make sure you know what our bylaws are, teaching you how to ride, what the signals are for, the hand signals for riding with us in a group, tell you the do's and don'ts of just becoming a Steel Horseman.
Okay. So how do you pick your big brothers? How do you match them up?
I usually match them up with someone in the club that's I want 100% committed to making him what a Steel Horseman is now, and that's someone that's understanding our bylaws, understanding what our riding procedures are, and that's usually you want to give them someone that's going to teach them something. And there's 5 or 6 of them that I select to be big brothers, so that if that probate steps out of bounds, instead of me having to correct them, then I go to his big brother and make sure that he teaches them what he needs to know.
Okay, so you teach the biker safety in the beginning, before they're even a member, while they're probating.
Yes, I mean, that's a part of becoming a part of your organization, is you have bylaws that you need to go by. And everyone in your club should understand them, should know them. Every position should be taught by that certain person. So my road captain is responsible for us once we hit the road. I'm the president, but once we strap up and get ready to go down the highway, I'm just a member until we get to where we're going. And then I become the president again. But once we're on the road captain has total control of where we stop to get gas, where we're going to eat, when we need to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say division, each responsibility is, a sergeant at arms has a responsibility, treasurer has a responsibility, you know, business manager or whatever you call them in your organization.
Well, you've been on the set for 20 years, so, and since we're talking about board members and their responsibilities, tell us a little bit about that. As a president of an MC, what is your responsibility?
Well, my responsibility is to teach or coach everyone else in what their responsibilities are. And that's to make sure the vice president knows what his role is. You're trying to teach the vice president the stuff that you know, because that's likely going to be the next person to take over when you retire, or hopefully it's retirement versus anything else.
Yeah.
You know, your treasurer is someone that you want to know that knows how to manage money. Doesn't want it to be your cousin because your cousin's your best friend. It wants to be somebody that knows how to manage money, because this set that we're on, the two biggest problems are money and women. I'm not going to get into the women part. I'm just going to stay with the money. I know you're going to ask, but we're not going to go there.
All right.
And as a president, that's your responsibility, because once you're responsible for however many members you have, and their family too, because you want to make sure when you go somewhere, you also bring all those people back, because this is a hobby to 99% of us, and a lifestyle to 1% of us.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's as a president, that's your responsibility. You know, you got to know each member. You got to know which ones that may drink too much. And you might have to put them in a cage as opposed to putting them back on their bike to get back from where you are.
Yeah.
So, as a president, those are the things you're responsible for.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to have Dixie Roadside Safety with Tusha, Tennessee.
Okay, we're here today doing Dixie's biker safety, demonstrating road signals. Tennessee's Tusha. This is Stuntman from Roadside MC. Stuntman, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, let's go. Show me your stop signal. Show me your speed up signal. Show me your slow down signal. Show me your I need you to lead signal. Show me your single file signal. Show me your double. Show me your fuel signal. Show me your refreshment signal. Show me your hazards on the road. 1 and 2. Show me your police head. Okay, stop, man. That's great.
Remember to drive safe out there, you guys. Until next time.
My name is Chantel Wright.
And I'm Dominique Cotton.
And I'm Rolando De La Fuente.
And we are the Financial Success Consultants.
If it's got wheels and an engine, we can insure it. Reach us at 615-336-9238.
CEO, you are hitting on knowing your members. How important is it to know your members?
I mean, as a president, it's an absolute must. Simply because, you know, a lot of folks think that the sergeant at arms got to be the baddest, toughest, meanest cat on the set with you, but it should actually be the person that has more control to be able to handle any situation going on, to be able to handle your club if it gets in or it's at an area or a place where you need to get out of. With us, we have a code word, and once that code word is spoken, if you're a Steel Horseman within that function, that means it's time to go. You don't ask any questions. You're not the president or the vice president or anybody at that point. You line up and you go to where that designated area is so that we can account for all heads involved and get ourselves out of any situation you may get in. So it's important to know who's cool, calm, and collective that can do that. Also, you've got to teach that in your meeting so that when that person speaks up and says, this is what we're doing, there is no hesitation. There's no second thought about it. This is as it is. Let's go. You know, so each role is played and that person takes over at that point. Road captain on the road, find out your stuff with the person that's doing, you know, whatever your financial business is. So the president is just like a head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, specialty team. So
Right.
that's the way I look at being
Right.
the president for Steel Horsemen.
Okay. So there is a chain of command that your members would have to follow, correct?
Correct.
So, as members, will all members become board members eventually, or are some just going to be just members? They'll never be anything
And that's
other
a good
than
question to
member.
ask, because there's a lot of folks that just want to be members. They will do exactly what they're supposed to do, and they have the qualifications to be a leader, but they just want to be a part of the organization without that responsibility. Because when you become one of those officers, you become responsible for everyone that wears this patch, everyone that's got your colors on, every social club that's involved with your organization, and most of us have social clubs that. But we don't spend a lot of time expressing that so that people understand it and know that this is what it is. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you all have a social club?
yes, we do.
You do?
We have actually 3 social clubs.
3 social clubs. What's the names of your social clubs?
Color Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Exclusive Sisters. Mm-hmm. And Lady Cobras.
Lady Cobras. Okay.
Yes.
So how do you do that? 3 social clubs. Explain that. A lot of people don't understand how SCs come in under MCs, and I think you'll be a good person to explain that to everybody.
SC should be under MCs.
Mm-hmm.
And here lately we've talked about them having the same patch as the MC. But years and years and years ago, back before we kind of got on the right page as a set here in Nashville, there were social clubs that were just social clubs. And they didn't have any big brothers, so to speak. So when the board was sort of formed, or the heads to be, the folks that kind of got together and said, let's get Tennessee on the right page and in the right path, we sort of said every social club had to have a big brother. So there was those 3. Well, Color Girls have always been the Steel Horsemen's social club, because most of those are wives of Steel Horsemen. Mm-hmm. I kind of was asked to be the big brother of the other 2 because they didn't have anyone. Lady Cobras is a social club of the Cobras from back in the day, but there's maybe a few of them still around. And I had to sit down and have a conversation with them before I would venture into that.
So there was a process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I ended up with 3.
With 3.
Yeah.
That's a lot to manage as one man.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I mean, you kind of set the expectation just like you would for your MC. Mm-hmm. They have a protocol, they have a system that they have to use. They're out, and I'm not with each one of them every time they go out to go to a party or a function. But if they happen to have a situation come up, then everyone knows who to call to solve a situation or take care of a problem that may occur.
So you got the right people in place.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you've been on the set for 20 years. How much longer will you be on the set, you think? Retirement
I
in the
hate
forefront?
to say this,
or
but I'll probably get on a 3-wheel and keep going.
Keep going.
I would rather have a motorcycle than a car.
Yeah, so you're a lifer.
So I'm a lifer.
All right, I
And
like
I'll
it.
be a Steel Horseman until, they fold my arms and ride me past the river.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I think this will bring us to an end. Is there anything that you want to announce? I know that Steel Horsemen MC's parties, their annuals are usually in September. Do you want to tell us a little bit about when it is? And
I just want to talk for the set. There's a calendar that
Okay.
we do every year, and on that calendar has everyone's anniversary. It has a lot of stuff that we do as far as charity work go. Look at the calendar and be a part of something.
And where can they find that calendar?
It's on a TBA website. It's on the Tennessee Biker Set. I think it's the name of them webpage. And you can probably find it out on Facebook and some other stuff. But if you need to get one, you can probably talk to any MC or motorcycle club and get you a copy.
Okay, alrighty. Well, thank you for being here. I am glad that you all voted for CO to be on
Thank
the
you for voting
Biker.
for CO.
You've done a great job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
Good. Big shout out to Money for letting us use Dazone, which is available for all of your party events. On March 17th, we're going to be up at Old School Riders for their day party. There's going to be a Ravin Dixie line pop-up shop where you can get your Ravin Dixie line merchandise. We'll be there from 10 to 2. Also, the Old School Riders party will be that night up at Nasty Dogs in Clarksville, Tennessee. On March 24th, the Unexplainable MCs will be having their annual at Limelight Entertainment. You all come out and enjoy the festivities. You can get all of your Ravin Dixie line merchandise at the Ravin Dixie line online store at raven/dixie/line at squarespace.com. As always, you guys watch out for bikers on the road when Dixie out.